The Hip Hop Show on Cambridge 105 Radio.
Yeah, boy!
I said the hip hop, the hip hop.
Today, the hop, you don't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, that was Palaver by Weslie, and we are very lucky to be joined by the man. Let's make some noise. Come on, come on.
Evening, Governor.
Finally, sir, finally. I mean, you know, we spoke to you, Weslie, at the beginning of the year down at 6 Bar. Feels like a long time ago now.
Correct.
We also caught up with you sort of in the middle of the year, throughout the summer at Disconnect, and we meet again, sir, more officially.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right back at you, man. So, how have you been since then? What have you been up to?
Sound as a pound, dandy's a lion.
Good, good.
Bits and bobs, kind of taken a well-needed hiatus for myself, both creatively and just for other bits.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I think it's important sometimes to take a step back, even when things are going well,
Absolutely.
and to reevaluate and reassess.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? You don't want to get too lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, we just heard their Palaver off your EP from last year, drops last year. There's a great reaction, great response on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it right. The malicious manifestos of a mindless moron. It dropped last year, and you know, such a strong and powerful opening track there. We'll talk a bit about that in a second, but let's just rewind. Let's take it right back to the start with yourself. I mean, you know, I'm fresh into Cambridge still, really. You know, I'm a newbie, and Ali's fairly new to the show as well. So we are genuinely interested in your sort of journey as an artist. So how did it all start? How did you get into rapping?
Well, I think I started writing poems to start with. This was before, so pretty much I'm London born, Herfordshire-raised.
There you go. Right.
Cambridge is where I found Cambridge was in college.
Right.
And I always kind of recite that those years I was in college in Cambridge was the turning point for me as a person.
Can you say which college?
Long Road.
Yeah.
There you go. Shout
big
out.
up.
Yeah, shout out Long Road.
Absolutely.
Like, big up. I think Long Road, the people that I met there just changed the course of my life, man.
Wow.
Because I think in a town like, so I'm from Stortford, Bishop Stortford.
Yes.
So I think there's a trap of potentially getting kind of narrow visioned in a town like that, and it takes you to kind of step out to see there is another world out there. And granted, Cambridge is just on its doorstep, but that for me was an eye opener. Right, it's not just Stortford here, there's more out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the people that I met there too kind of changed that course. So I was I was writing poems anyway, like kind of. So I'm dyslexic. I've got a stutter. You'll probably hear it. Like, recording.
Didn't notice.
Everyone says this shit, which is mad to me. Yeah, because I'm like, how do you not?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you're so articulate in your rhymes. It's quite hard to believe, actually.
Well, this is the maddest thing. Like for someone that has like my speech impediments and stuff like this, it's a myth that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I kind of came into so I was writing poems, but I was always good in school at like writing that English lit. Was that the one where you could just write your own doodah?
Absolutely, yeah.
So did nothing with it at all, right? And then I come to Cambridge, and then I start hearing like things like Reggie Snow, and I start hearing like Earl Sweatshirt. And stuff
well,
like
we've got a couple of those tracks on the lineup this evening. You gave us some of your influences there as well, so we look forward to that.
So these were kind of guys, and like, because again, when I was like just like before I came to Cambridge, it was all I was listening to was like dog shit. Well, what am I like cussing on this?
Yeah.
The last time that we spoke,
I know.
was the most bleeped out interview I've ever.
I've got to say this. So my introduction to you was through that interview.
I sent him some bits over. Yeah.
My favourite part about it was the fact that you dropped F-bombs left, right and centre, and then halfway through said, Ben Stepper, is it alright if I swear? What's that about?
Well, it's kind of too late now, Weslie. You know what I mean?
Good, man. I think the first word was F-all.
No, you weren't the only one. I mean, you know, we get a bit lively in these festival environments, man. So it's all good. But do what we can tonight. Do what we can.
Right. So I'm in Cambridge and that, and I'm doing, and I think I got a lot of push to do it. I think kind of again there isn't a scene at all in from where I grew up.
Fair. Yeah.
So obviously here you've got like kind of a lot of people from high focus kind of
absolutely
their roots are like here. I think UK hip hop as a genre in its like self. Deep roots in Cambridge.
Yeah, there is.
And I had no idea I was stumbling into that, but you know what I mean, like good things happen.
It's madness, isn't it? I mean, who would have known?
Yeah, so I've kind of come in to have some push, and then so do my kind of like 2 years or so in college, dip back, and again just do nothing with it really, just doss about, kind of just get into trouble, fall into a lifestyle that I really shouldn't have been doing, right? Get rumbled, get taken, right? And then I had this moment, right, where I got arrested. This is like beat around the bush.
Yeah. I mean, you referenced that in some of your tunes as well.
I'm very, very blunt about it. I'm very honest about it because I feel it was such a turning point because none of my tunes you'll ever hear glorifying any sort of that realm, right? It will always be this is what happened.
Honesty.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
Let's not front, but also this is what it turned into. This is how you come back.
Yeah.
So Weslie was actually my was the name that people would give me like on the street, like you know.
Right. Okay.
Like, on like a real, it was like my nickname and my kind of thing I was doing was that's Weslie's da.
Right.
So I get nicked, get released. And then I'm sitting in my room, right, because they raided my yard, right, and my room is just a tip and all this stuff, and I'm sat there, and then they got and this pile of just like everything that I thought my life was gonna be, just this, up and turned, dashed everywhere, and I had this moment of thinking, right, you either be like one of them fools that are like, oh yeah, I'm going to come back bigger and better, or you completely switch this path. Completely. This was that turning point. This was that turning moment. And I wrote my whole first EP in under a month, sat in that room, reclused myself completely.
Rascals and Reprobates?
That was it, yeah.
Amazing.
Completely. Just completely changed my course, my stars, whatever it was.
That's amazing, man. I mean, I was going to ask, you know, you've answered a lot of my questions here already, but you know, I do love how you articulate and make a point of things that most people wouldn't be honest enough to admit. And you were just talking a little bit about honesty. Now, I've got some lyrics here. Known to drink, sipping Stella, such a clumsy fella, falling off bar stools. You know, it's a very personal insight into your vices, your behaviour in your personal life. Like, even with the title, you know, Malicious Manifestos of Mindless Moron. Like, you know, you're giving a real look in to your listeners on what your lifestyle was about. It almost reminds me, not stylistically, but of Eminem's early Eminem attitude. Like, he just didn't care. Like, he's like, this is me. These are my downfalls. This is who I really am.
I think that's crucial.
And what you're saying there about like the non-glorification, it's great, man. It's great.
Selling seashells, I weren't subtle, so let this be the sequel to my hustle.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like about taking that because like I think it's so important to be authentic, and I think authenticity is very clear when it's lacking. Like, people can see it from a mile off.
Oh, of course.
And my point was from the get-go was to be as transparent as possible, and to be as authentic as possible. And you can't kind of be that way without taking the rough with the smooth, like kind of expressing that, and you'd be surprised how many people do relate to that too.
I think exactly. Kind of, so relatable. People get sort of get it twisted in this sort of field that you need to kind of be a certain way to connect with like people, but you would be shocked, mate. You would be shocked. No, it's one thing that I personally noticed that, you know, it's such a honest, personal, you know, both EPs that you've dropped.
Definitely.
It's like, this is me. You know, I'm just. I loved it. I loved really diving into your lyrics as well. We'll get more into
also
that.
Also, on the lyricism, I noticed there you compared, like, drew a little Eminem comparison. It's also stylistically, like, I'm a bit of a rhyme nerd, but like you use multi-syllable rhymes, and Mos Def, Eminem, some of the hip hop titans use that style of rhyming. And I'm gonna butcher this, but this is the bit I've been bumping to work.
There you go.
The firebender, the vibe blender, it's high tender, the rhyme bender, the line sender. How is it?
Oi, come on, Ale.
You're gonna drop
He's been studying you, bro.
Yeah.
You've been studying.
a bump for me?
You're like those ones, yeah. Like those ones, you're fucking gonna get that. And you know what? I'm gonna appreciate you for like.
That was fire.
Yeah.
Can we get that from yourself as well? That section.
Firebender, the vibe blender, it's high tender, the rhyme. I don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. In all fairness, it's a techie one to do. I felt like that. You know what I mean? In all fucking fairness, but yeah, I think you can. You'll find those throughout my tunes.
Yeah,
I think it's sometimes when I'm writing, I have to kind of think, all right, you've just done about A4 back in the front of like the same rhyme.
Insane.
Maybe kind of save that for another one. Do you know what I mean? But that is definitely a style of mine.
But that clearly stems from the poetic side of you, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think all of my, I would honestly say maybe like 9 out of 10 of my hooks start as poems. They start as poems, and then I build around those as a like. Because when I was sat in like my room, not knowing what to do with anything, I was listening to like type beats.
Right, yeah.
Type beats.
Yeah.
I got this like poem because I was already writing poems before. So then you kind of like have all this stuff. So, I wonder if I could put this on top of this. And then you realise how well it works and stuff like this.
There you go.
Then, like, the rest is history.
That's it. Yeah.
But I think poetry is important.
You know, you start with the poem on that EP as well. Very strong intro.
That's arguably my favourite part about it. The Resentful Criminal.
Amazing.
That's what that was, and then that turned into the hook for Bella, the last one. So
that's
like
it.
Full circle.
Yeah. You know, I love that reference as well. Once again, you know, you say, where is it? I've got it here. So. Yeah, that's it. Repair all the misdeeds that I commit. This seems to be like a general theme, right? So do you find that music has helped you to do that?
Oh, bruv, 100%. 100%. I think you've kind of got, I think whereas in my hometown, I would get calls or people coming up to me randomly that I wouldn't know necessarily, being like, yo, Weslie, have you got
such and such?
Yeah. To, yo, Weslie, I love your music.
Yeah. What transformation that is.
And like kind of, and I think you don't realise how much you kind of, as a person, how much that means to you until you have it. Like if you told that person that this was like the kind of vibe that I'm on now, he'd like slap and dash him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like this, like like that sort of how do you say it, connection with like people was far deeper. I hold that higher.
And it's so great that you actually still reference those days honestly through your art as well. That's what I love about both those EPs. Now, we spoke a little bit about your influences there, just lyrically touching on it, but we do have a track list that you sent over.
Yes, sir.
Let's drop something from one of those. What should we get into first, Weslie?
Well, let's do, for me, it will probably be Pete Rock.
Oh,
first,
mate.
Right?
Yeah.
So
let's go with that. Yeah, definitely. I love that. They reminisce over you, and I will chat back with Weslie in a bit. Keep it locked. Hip Hop Show 105.
What's good?
Yes.
Weslie, couple questions.
Talk to me, baby.
We've been talking off air about cover art. I find your cover art very interesting. It's artistic. You know, for that Rascals and Reprobates EP, you've got, I believe, a bull terrier. Sitting on a mattress, couple bottles of wine to the side. Tell me about your vision there.
So I actually drew I'll see if I can pull this up for the camera there.
Yeah, please do.
I drew this, so again, while I was reclused, trying to figure shit out, I drew this image of what I was kind of...
Not just a recording artist, an actual artist.
So I did that.
Oh, there it is.
Literally that, yeah. I just had this image. Can you get that? Is that on there?
We got it. So go and check out.
Right, just like that.
Okay, there you go. So for the listener, could you just describe what's going on there?
So, F all. Like, literally, it was just something that.
So that is basically the first draft, really, of your first EP, isn't it?
Yeah. So this was. Oh right, sorry. Yeah. So this was. So the idea behind kind of like this was, obviously we're talking about the transitions of lives, right? So kind of finding better meanings.
Yeah.
I always found those sorts of dogs, like bully dogs, kind of how do you know what I mean, soft on the inside, and then like on the outside perceived as dangerous, villainous, whatever.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the whole thing that I wanted to tap into. That dog was this girl I knew, and she had been asked a few times by different artists actually to use that dog for album covers. All of them wanted vicious looking, biting in the streets with like graffiti in the back, and to make the dog as like an accessory of crud. I came to
a bit like DMX vibes.
And I think if you're DMXing, crack on, but like, do you know what I mean? If you're just like doing it for the sake of it, it kind of does a bad image. So then I kind of pitched her, look, I've got this idea for it. So we take the photo, and it's only after I'd kind of pieced it all together and like released it. And I'm telling you, like, mums, this was a complete accident. So we were talking about the dog, the mattress, and the bottles of wine. The track list for that EP is Mattress, right? Rowdy Ruffian.
It's all making sense.
Yeah, with the dog. So the dog's the Rowdy Ruffian, and track 3 Wine, baby.
Come on, it's a banger.
It's like, I saw it. You know, when you have one of them existential moments, you're like, whoa.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, bro.
If we refer to the track Mattress, you say, God bless our mother.
Yes, they
try.
try.
Stepping out of line, maybe I'm a victim of the times. Have you found yourself battling with what's expected of you versus what's laid out for you?
No.
What we're surrounded by
I think
these days?
I think for me, I kind of get I get a kick in not following suit.
Okay,
I almost kind of like strive to be to not worrying about that at all.
Yeah.
So that's never been my, and I think it was how I came into it in the beginning, of kind of thinking, right, I want to be as like kind of me as possible, as kind of true to myself as like possible. So then further down the line, I got an answer to no one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All this stuff that I kind of like I release, that I do, I'm not doing it on anyone else's time. I'm not doing it on anyone else's, like, you know what I mean? I'm painting with my own brush here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so I don't think I'd have that.
Amazing. You kind of referenced that same sort of message, I suppose, with the tune with Samuel as well, Oysters, Many Happy Mistakes, but but it's okay. I'm okay with it.
Because I think it's important to learn. I think it's important to learn. I think as I've gotten a little bit older, I've learnt the importance of lessons, and not to avoid them, running head first, and kind of just see if the outcome,
right back to that honesty,
you know,
again, man.
I think is important, man. And you'd be surprised how things like a lot of these like mistakes are just blessings in fucking disguise, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just such a great way of looking at
it. I'm like telling you, like getting that day where I got nicked was at the time one of the most horrendous days of my life.
I can imagine.
The best day of my life.
Yeah,
the best day of my life.
Yeah, to turn it around like that.
Yeah,
and learn from it,
because I wouldn't have any of this.
Yeah, I mean? Absolutely. We wouldn't have all these stories to tell.
None.
So we just heard there Pete Rock and CL Smooth with Ray. They reminisce over you. Now your lyrical style, Weslie, very poetic, lots of analogical references, metaphorical things going on. Like you said, with the multisyllabic sort of rhymes in there as well. A good play on words. Who inspires you lyrically?
So definitely Earl Sweatshirt. Oof. I think because obviously the guy comes from a poetic background.
There you go.
As it is. Earl Sweatshirt. I think you know what, mate. I'm going to do it. I was trying to remember off dome. I actually wrote some down before I came in here because I knew this was going to get asked.
He comes prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right, where are we at?
And I noticed as well with a lot of these artists, mostly American. You know, we'll get into
definitely,
that. There is one UK influence on this list as well. But I would say, you know, even with listening to your EPs, it's sort of that style, isn't it? You know.
So I'm saying Earl Sweatshirt, Joey Badass.
Oh, one of my favourites. Yeah,
it's a good lineup.
Mac Miller, Lil Kana, Reggie Snow, Jesse James Solomon, and yeah, I think we're looking at that really.
And what is it about
Mos Def? Sorry.
Do you know?
Excuse me.
I love this because for me personally, Mos Def and Joey Badass are in the top 5 for me.
Yeah, and I think they kind of weirdly in this generation don't get talked about enough.
They don't.
Weirdly, Joey Badass, because he's like active.
I know.
He's not someone from like Mos Def's time, man.
But did you see him cover Umi Says?
No.
Oh, bro, you need to check that.
Interesting.
You have to send that my way later.
He does. He does a cover of Umi Says by Mos Def, and he kills it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you know, if there was
tap into
anyone
that.
to pair up with Mos Def,
It has to be him, right?
See him,
It has to
him
be
doing
him.
that 100%.
So, what is it about these artists that inspires you? You mentioned poetry a little bit there with Earl Sweatshirt.
I think sonically, I think just their voices to like start with. That's obviously what you want to hear first. That's the thing that catches you.
Yeah.
But I think each one of them is just the way that they talk, the way they talk. They're just so. I always find these guys very clever. I think they're very, very clever, and I think and like for me, yeah, like they're like American, but I could care less, man. There is a wealth of a UK talent. You
Absolutely,
know what I mean? Wealth of them. But these are just people that inspired me. Do you know what I mean? And I think kind of like with people like so Reggie Snow, I found like kind of coming like to Cambridge, like bumping that. But like some of them like Lowell Khan, I found like kind of that was probably an inevitable one for our generation, to be honest.
He's great.
I'd say as well that you've talked about a lot of different artists spanning through quite a lot of genres, and like obviously no artist likes to be put in a box or labelled. But you know, I'd say the UK. I'd actually argue UK can birth subgenres like no other country in terms of we've got grime, we've got drill.
Absolutely,
we just birth subgenres very easily. So not to put yourself in a box, but what would you classify yourself as? You've mentioned like quite a lot of alternative hip hop there, slightly.
Well, I'm like one thing I think I'm kind of very clear on is that I'm not a hip hop purist. You know,
right, okay.
I'm not. I'm kind of. I thoroughly vibe with a hip hop. You know what I mean? That's like kind of that would be my like core. You know.
Yeah.
But I think kind of there's elements of. So I grew up on like ska. I grew up on like, do you know what I mean? This was kind of where my, like, so the CDs in our house growing up was Gorillaz, UB40 and The Police.
Right, okay.
Do you know
Is
what I
his
mean?
parents
And Special, so yeah. And like, so like, we didn't really grow up kind of like listening to this sort of like stuff. This was something that I had to like find.
Yeah.
So, but then love, do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a love for like kind of rock, man. I've got love, like, if it sounds sonically good, like punk, like I'm there, I'm tapped in. But I think, and obviously there's elements like jazz and like soul, blues.
We can definitely hear that in your music. I mean, you know, if we just go back again to the track we played at the beginning with Palaver, it's almost orchestral in its instrumentation.
So I was kind of aiming with this with Malicious Manifestos of a Mindless Moron. Yeah, I was kind of hoping or aiming this time round to use a lot more instrumentation. Yeah, a lot more, because the first one was quite MIDI. In terms of samples and stuff like this. I wanted to source actual kind of musicians, like kind of straight from the source. Do you know what I mean? So we've got the first one. Yeah, we've got like a rock sort of like guitar riff playing like through, and he goes ham like on the second half.
Sounds like a bit of horns in there as well.
Yeah, like mad orchestral. That one, you know why it's called Palaver? Because it's a palaver to make.
You played yourself really well there.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, we're going to keep the show moving. We're going to see what Weslie has got coming up. I believe you're going to drop some rhymes for us very shortly as well. Sir. But you did mention Earl Sweatshirt there, so let's just get into that, shall we?
Shuck it on.
Let's keep it locked and we'll hear back from Weslie in a bit. Hip Hop Show. Let's go.
What's good? We've been talking a little bit off air about, I don't know, a couple things, including alcohol.
Okay. What a way to go back in after a tune.
Is that allowed? Yeah.
So if you've just joined us, we're here with Weslie. Yeah.
Come on, Weslie. Let's talk. So in the interview with Rehmidi that I watched from, I think it was back in January 2023.
Yeah, early this year.
I remember you said you had a couple Diablos being sent your way. Is that still the case? And can I get sponsored?
No. So yeah, I'm teetotal, baby.
Wow.
Love that.
I don't like. I think up until I'm 5 months now.
Amazing.
Just completely. I think during this kind of hiatus, so it's kind of being on that part, because I think if you truly love something and you have to make a sacrifice, like kind of it's a techie one to do if both those things are a positive force.
Yeah.
But when one thing is like
overpowering,
like drinking too much, you know what I mean? I think it's very easy to chuck that one way. I think you have to make that fucking decision. because I was just doing it too much, man, and I wanted to focus on these things. And I think kind of now that I'm in this position, like I'm training Muay Thai, I'm kind of I've like completely just kind of took myself away. So now I'm kind of coming back into the music scene with like new ears, new eyes,
amazing,
like a new nose.
And you know, for me that's just great, because both projects that we've heard from you have been so personal. I can only imagine that what's coming next is going to be even more sort of evolution of Weslie, and how this sort of, I suppose, clean path that you're taking now, man.
And you'd be surprised. Like I've looked into it, but how many kind of like, because I was under the impression that I could only be creative, I could only be that way, this way, so everyone's resonating with, because it was always like me and the stage was with like a bottle of wine in my hand, like, always,
absolutely. Even back in the summer, man,
it was like my little kind of my little gimmick. Do you know what I mean? Getting pissed on like stage, which is all fun and games, but like when you're kind of wanting to do this long term, I'm gonna have to be pissed like all the time.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't,
where's the longevity in that?
It's not feasible, man. And I found like kind of I've got a far clearer head. And like I'm making like sort of more conscious decisions.
Amazing.
On that topic, actually, I think that's brave from you. Firstly, because hip hop and alcohol have quite a strong relationship. You got Diddy, who owns Ciroc. You got Jay-Z, who owns, I think, Ace of Spades. Even in the UK, you got Charlie Sloth, who owns a vodka brand. So respect to you for going, like, there is actually like a counterculture now in hip hop where people are celebrating sobriety. Like a lot of rappers talk about like their addictions and battling addictions, their newfound sobriety.
I found like sort of so I'm part of a club, Switch Kick Mafia, and that's a Muay Thai kickboxing, and I fell in love with that the same way I did with music. And so it kind of, with that, you want to be the peak of your game. You want to be kind of healthy. So that goes.
So how have you found it, balancing this new love for Muay Thai and fitness and sport with the music? Has it actually informed it? Has it helped you sort of, been able to live those two sort of existences?
I think kind of, so I was meant to have, like, so this is what my thought process was. I was meant to have a fight in November. And that fell like through, and I was like, okay, after this fight, I'm going to get back into the music. And then that fight fell like through, so then I was like, right, when's this next fight? And it's like in February, but I was like, I want to do music now, man. So I'm kind of like, I'm going to balance it like through, because I'm not looking to fight as like a career. It's more just something to kind of get me on the like straight and narrow. So I can focus wholeheartedly on this.
Is there a trip to Thailand at all?
There actually is. I'm going in March.
Wow, you've been before?
Nah, first time.
I spent 3 years there, man. So if you need any tips,
brother, I'll fucking hit you up.
Yeah, hit me up.
I want to live in the mountains, man.
Bro, you know what I mean? Like, it's amazing out there.
Like broth and
You'll love it, man. You'll love it, and there's a great music scene out there as well.
A couple of your DJ sets were looking picturesque with the backgrounds.
I'm telling you. Did we see you as well climb a bit of a mountain? Was it Snowdonia that you hit up recently as well?
One of the most horrific things we've ever done.
Yeah, talk to me about that, man.
One of the most. So it was on my birthday, my 25th birthday. That's it. Like, honest to God, I was an idiot. So funny enough, I was pissed while I was climbing it. like honestly, mate.
It's like you're trying to do good, but it just sneaks in.
Like, creep it in. Yeah. So I've like gone to the boys and I'm like, right, okay, we've got there's 12 of us climbing this absurd like trail, like the most dangerous one, Crib Gok. Like
the 12 disciples.
It mate. Do you know what I mean, mate? Like
one of the peaks. Yeah.
So we're like climbing this thing. Well, no. So I was like, we got pissed before it was my birthday, and then we were climbing it. It was in February, so I'm born February the 1st. Yeah. It had 45-mile-an-hour winds, rain, hail, snow.
It looked torrential, bro.
It was dark, mate.
Yeah.
It was dark. Halfway through it, because once you climb the first little kind of like ridge, you can't just like come back. Like it's like
you've committed.
Man. It's like a vertical climb. Yeah. So once you're up there, you're there.
That's it.
And like there's no coming down. It was one of those things. Like so, like I'm with the boys. Like honestly, mate, like I'm like hanging, like position, like on this like the side of the mountain. All the boys are running across it like mountain goats. I'm like fetal position. Like,
hey, hats off to you, though, man. That sounds like a challenge. It looked like a challenge as well.
It was grim. I would never do that again. Do not recommend doing that at that time of the year.
Well, Weslie, it kind of leads into, I suppose, what's coming next, and I believe you're going to drop some rhymes for us as well. Shall we do it?
Let's do it, man.
An exclusive right here on the Hip Hop Show. Let's get into it with Weslie. Come on.
The Hip Hop Show on Cambridge 105 Radio.
Yeah.
My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the glamour. My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the glamour. I'm left racking heads for the placement. Inspired by the vow, I start drive past science set adjacent. Pennies in the mason jar, forgive my adversaries for a sudden glance. I've been learning patience. I refuse to set aside, be the prize for your statement. I'd rather pick flies, weak eyes can only see as far as you take them. I tried aiming, but I need them silver bullets, not the gold casing. My flow's dangerous, keep the mule, I want the whole acres. Sick of quotes like I'm fueled by the paper. Dickhead, all your energy is spent putting fuel in your papers. I sit aside mixing stew, giving no tasters. I'm on a wish list, causing mischief for my neighbours. She said she missed this with her lipstick smeared on my trainers. Never simplistic, I'm a real entertainer, a real instigator. Food for the gators, grinding teeth, slashing fiends, tooled up with sabres. Bunch of fools flock the rules, deem it cool by vagrants. The pen is mighty, be the blighty for the sword. I vent despite the lively fight without a cause. Might despise me, but I'm righteous, need no guidance for my course. The way's rough, top, quick buck, sick jock up. An empty narrative, a cheap shot. We got puncture up your abdomen. I'm absent with a bag of gems. I've been active since the box of smokes came in a pack of 10. Yeah, I'm back again. Yeah, I'm adamant. You factor in my linguistics with the cabinet. I'm rabid with the maddest pen. I'm snatching up your talismans, send them off, kick running while I'm cackling. I kick back at the boozer with a cold pint and a side of port scratchings. I'm only joking, I fucking hate port scratchings. My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the glamour. My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the grammar. Look, I hear the pitter-patter, tiptoeing, lacking manners. Give the wrist spasm to madams before you know what's happened. Nice guy facade until your car's a glance, fighting stance, then jog on in tandem. Well behaved amongst the villainous, read the syllabus, back to front at the back of the silly bus. Plagued with these riddles and riddles, some pray to be rid of them. I spray lay waste to a hindrance, ignorance. I get slapped happy when I'm introduced to tragic chappies who forget to only speak when spoken to. Whether it's a private function or a social do, these mugs can get the same. Violations in abundance, can't afford to pick and choose. Strong alliance with the lewd and crude, fair to assume that my disposition hails from a lack of patience. Boy, I'm not amused, shoving admiration down my throat before I've had a chance to chew my food. You wonder why I'm fucking rude? That's a stretch. Got less reach than a T-Rex on a boxer cap. A weak flex for your first rep. Now you're upset, see sense, speak less, let your knees bend and give thanks to me, friend. Rome wasn't built in a certain amount of time. Seems absurd, but let your patience make the climb. Man your station, redefine what it is to be a scumbag in his prime. My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the glamour. My mind's eyes been closed for a while, but no surprise, I've been bad since the manor. No manners in my grammar when I stammer, hear the hammer dropping down, putting stains on the glamour.
Come on, Wesley.
Fire.
No manners. No manners at all up in here.
Zero manners.
I love that, putting stains on the glamour. It's kind of like what you were saying about that glorification thing, man. Just authentic, honest, and coming with them real solid lyrics as well. I was waiting for you to take a breath, bro.
Fibre, no trace of a stammer either. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
No, but this is it, man. Right? It's kind of when I'm like talking. If I get angry, or if I get like stressed, they'll like come out, But it's crazy to me, and this is what I think is because I think when you're growing up as like a kid and you've got like a stammer, it's like a hard thing to grow up with. You've got like, do you know what I mean? You're trying to articulate and you can't do it. So then when you're kind of speaking to a mass of people and they're hanging on to every single word, you're stuttering. It's a power that you didn't have, or I didn't have growing up. And I feel this. And I'm speaking as I'm thinking. Like I'm just realizing that now. Like that's how I'm. It's
real time.
Yeah, like real time. That's probably why I'm as hooked on this, because
Amazing. So unreleased track there, Weslie, No Manners, which leads to the question, what's coming next? Now, obviously, you know, fans can catch you down at 2648 on the 27th of January. We're really looking forward to having you down there, man. It really went off last time, and it only makes sense to get someone like yourself at the top of the bill on that one.
Appreciate you.
But what else, man? So is this going to lead to another sort of fuller project, or?
Nah, so pretty much the last EP was a learning curve for me, in terms of I kind of pretty much had to do the majority of it like kind of solo.
Yeah,
in terms of I had a producer, I had a mix and mastering guy, but in terms of like kind of like really getting in there with like the kind of like the logistics of like it all, it was a lot. So I did a lot of the editing. I've got no history with editing and stuff like that. So there was a lot of work. Yeah, and I think it creatively took it out of me.
Sure, I remember you said that when we caught up with you last time. Yeah,
in the interview you said, "I'm not putting myself through that again."
Yeah. Ah, dude, I'll stand by that
as a quote. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love this guy. He knows
research. He's done research, man.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm not putting myself through that again.
Exactly.
At least not now. I think kind of one thing that kind of annoyed me a bit about it was kind of, so that first, because obviously I do Rascals and Reprobates as a production company too.
Sure.
So we do like kind of shows and everything, and I haven't done one of them in a while because that was coinciding with the release of the last one.
Right.
Again, all of it together was a lot. Need to get a fucking step back.
Yeah.
But the original, like, so the pilot episode almost for that company was meant to be the release party, and that was like a year before it even ever came out.
Right, okay.
So, and it always kind of bugged me that I didn't release them as singles, because I think kind of it's great as a project. I always kind of like dreamed of it being a follow-on from the first EP.
Yeah.
But I think from now on, until I kind of find the right moment, singles.
Yeah.
Singles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think then for me, I can really kind of focus on getting it exactly how it needs to be. Kind of like So I've got singles. I've got singles.
And singles are better, I'd argue, for building like momentum. Like back in the day, you'd release albums, and that was the kind of thing. But nowadays, like hip hop's do like help artists, like up and coming artists, just explode out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think it was almost. I kind of felt like I was doing a lot of work without being seen. And I think that was just because I was like hung up on one project, and then I was doing other tracks on the side, which then like kind of fell to the wayside because I was focusing on this one too much, you know. So I think now, kind of focus on each one, get them like
at a time,
be more active. Yeah. I think that's how I see 2024 going.
Amazing,
more active.
Well, I can't wait to, you know, hopefully it's gonna be many more opportunities to connect with you and collaborate with you, sir, because we love your art, we love what you do, and we can't wait for January. What can people expect if they've never seen you perform before and they're just listening to this show now, Cambridge 105? What can they expect when they walk through that door?
This, man. I will be exactly the same. I think this is a pretty good introduction if you haven't before.
Exactly, there you go.
No Vino San Pellegrino.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll be sober at least.
Yeah, very, very much so. I did my first sober set a few months ago, and it was experience.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got to evolve. You've got to adapt.
Exactly.
Now, obviously, down at Beats and Rhymes, we've got Samuel on that lineup as well. Now, Samuel was actually the only other rap artist on your latest EP, the only rap feature, which must mean something. Sure, it must take a special person to be the only rap feature.
Well,
so what does it mean?
Sam knows the love that I fucking have for him, man. Sam, that's my guy.
Absolutely.
That's my guy.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah. So Sam was so this Oysters, I had this track, and I was kind of like I was just flirting around with it. I didn't really know what to do. Sam, I think he was like on like a job somewhere, and he's like coming through Stortford, and he's like, "Yo, what you were saying?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just recording this like track here, literally under a blanket, you know what I mean? Just trying to record this thing." He goes, "Oh, if you're not busy, I'll pop in for a beer." I'm like, "Yeah, come in." The guy comes in within 10 minutes. I'm like, "Yo, do you want to see if you can jump on this?" That take is his first take.
Oh wow!
I don't think he took his shoes off yet. He was in there. He came in, just sat
He just
down,
dips out.
Turns to me, he goes, "Is that all right?" I'm like,
And you're like,
"Yes,
yes."
yes. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" I was like, "No, keep it."
Oh,
please."
amazing!
But yeah, Sam's my guy. Sam's he's on all of my Rascals Reprobate shows.
Yeah.
It's I think the thing I'm most kind of proud about of having him on Oysters is that it's a way for us to always kind of be performing together on the stage. Because when I perform with him on stage, it's like, do you know what I mean?
That's your brother right there.
That's my guy.
Absolutely. Well, I think we should drop that tune. I think it'd be a nice way for us to sign out tonight. That's about it from me. Wesley, it's been amazing to properly sit down and connect with you and learn a bit more and delve in a bit deeper.
Been a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, Ale, always a pleasure with yourself as well. Go and listen back to this on Mixcloud.
Yes, sir.
All the visuals are going on our YouTube as well, youtube.com/@hiphopshow105, Instagram, all that good stuff. And make sure you get down to 2648 on the 27th of January for Beats and Rhymes. Wesley's going to be there, Samuel's going to be there, and a lot of other amazing Cambridge MCs.
Just quickly, shout out to Shaz too, because she's obviously the female vocalist
on the album, absolutely.
On the album too.
There you go.
And all the other artists that were involved in that.
Amazing. Wesley, been a pleasure. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Yes, sir.
This one's Oysters. Hip Hop Show 105.
Cold case written in a sentence. Hold my space when I'm speaking in a session. Tales of adolescence beckon, spreading any foolish message. Leave my essence present on the guest list when I